All right, good evening and welcome to the public hearing on Proposal 4, a proposed amendment to the Constitution of the State of Vermont related to equality of rights. My name is Martin Lalone, representative from South Burlington and chair of the House Judiciary Committee and your host today. And we're going to start with committee introductions, and then I'll describe the logistics of how these hybrid hearings work, both on Zoom and in person. And then I'll cover some basic ground rules, and we'll then begin the hearing. So, Coach, why don't you go around here?
I'm Representative Kevin Coach Christie, representing the town of Hartford.
I'm Representative Barbara Rachelson. I represent part of Burlington, Chittenden 14 District.
Karen Dolan, one of the representatives from Essex Junction.
My name is Joseph Andriano. I represent the Addison-Rutland District, which is Orwell, Shoreham, Whiting, Sudbury, and Hubbardton.
Hello, Representative Ella Chapin from East Montpelier. I represent East Montpelier and Middlesex.
I don't know where to look. I'm Representative Angela Arsenault from Williston.
I'm Ken Goslant. I'm the representative from Northfield and Berlin.
Thank you, everybody. So we are holding this hearing in the House chamber of the State House and simultaneously on Zoom. This hearing is being live streamed on our committee YouTube channel. Those joining remotely will notice that you can see and hear everything going on in the room, but you are unable to control your video or audio at the present moment. You all should be able to see the list of speakers for today in your chat box in the Zoom, and I think there are 3 online and 4 in person at this point. I will also call out the names of the person up next and the person on deck, which I guess will be fairly simple with 3 individuals in the Zoom room. When I call your name, our committee assistant will promote you from being an attendee to being a panelist. The screen may flicker when this happens, and you may need to turn your video on and audio too. Once you are oriented and begin to speak, the timer will start. You will have 3 minutes to speak your thoughts, and the timer will turn yellow when you have 30 seconds remaining. When time is up, the timer will turn red, and we ask that you finish any sentences or thoughts at that time to make space for the next person in line. Once complete, we will move you back to the attendee area where you may continue watching the hearing. So some ground rules. Please speak clearly and respectfully. Any inappropriate banners, background images, vulgar or inappropriate language will be cause for immediate dismissal from the hearing. If you have any technical trouble, please use the chat function in Zoom to communicate with our support staff. Do not use the chat to promote your position or speaking points. It is strictly for logistical help with our staff. When your time is up, we will only give you a moment to finish your sentence or thought. Any abuse of this and you will be removed from the meeting. We hope this public hearing serves as a useful platform for citizens to voice their opinions to us in a respectful and effective way. The committee is really here to listen. We will not be answering questions or engaging with the witnesses, but understand we very much appreciate your input. So the constitutional amendment that we are considering and the decision point that this committee has and the House has is really an up or down vote on what we have received from the Senate. We are not allowed to amend that language. It is possible that one could go back to the Senate and ask for them to amend the language, but given the time of year that we're down to probably the last week and a half, there is not time. So this is really going to be an up or down vote on the language we have. And with that, we will proceed, and we're going to start with Christine Leonard. If you could join us. Christine is not there. Maybe she will show up in a bit. In that case, we'll go to August Burns.
Oh, okay, great. That's better. Hello. Thank you for this opportunity to testify in support of the proposed Equal Rights Amendment to the Vermont Constitution. My name is August Burns, and I have had the honor and privilege of serving women as a healthcare provider for 34 years, both here in Vermont and internationally. My work ranged from assisting in childbirth as a young midwife to providing family planning, abortion, and cancer prevention services with Planned Parenthood, as well as serving as a clinical advisor to the World Health Organization and to USAID. In every setting, I sat knee to knee, listening to women's stories and helping them find the care they needed to have autonomy in their lives and control over their bodies. I have witnessed the harsh reality of women's lives in an unequal society. As a physician's assistant with Planned Parenthood, I sat with the 15-year-old as she learned that she was pregnant by a relative who had violated her, or the single mother with one child too many who could not put food on the table. And though she also had a full-time job, her salary was not enough, reflecting the fact that women still earn a fraction of what men earn for equal work. Everywhere, poor women are at the bottom of society, often deprived of the basic human rights to live free from violence, poverty, and unwanted pregnancy. I naively thought that if we all worked hard enough, we would slowly move toward equality. I thought misogyny was based on outdated ideas that were quickly falling away as girls and women gained education and opportunity. But now an emboldened minority is rushing to destroy that progress. We have all watched in horror as pregnant women in Texas are turned away from emergency rooms and deprived of life-saving care in favor of fetal rights. And of course, this is not just about reproductive rights, but the fact that women have never been given the status of true equal citizenship. As Justice Kagan wrote in her dissent in the Dobbs decision, one result of today's opinion is certain: the curtailment of women's rights and their status as free and equal citizens. And of course, it is not just women we are speaking about. Immigrants, the LGBTQ+ community, and people of color are all being targeted. In states throughout our country, our rights are disappearing at a dizzying speed. Passing the Equal Rights Amendment is an essential step to protecting the promise of our experiment in democracy and ensuring the economic, social, and physical well-being of over half the population. We deserve a constitutional guarantee of equal legal rights for all. We deserve protection from religious, gender, racial, or class oppression. We all deserve equality. I am proud to be a Vermonter and to work with honorable people like yourselves as we strive toward liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Perfect timing as well. I'm very impressed. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. So. Yes. Yeah. We will post it on our website. Thank you very much. So we are now going to go remotely via Zoom to Gregory Baylor.
Great. Well, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, my name is Greg Baylor, and I serve as Senior Counsel with Alliance Defending Freedom. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share our concerns with Proposition 4 today. As you know, the amendment would forbid the state from denying equal treatment under the law on account of various characteristics. Many of the concerns that we have stem from the inclusion of gender identity and gender expression in the list of protected traits. Laws forbidding distinctions based on gender identity and expression have been interpreted in ways that inflict substantial harms, especially on women and girls. For example, such laws have been construed to require schools to allow males who identify as female to participate in girls' and women's sports. Women and girls, of course, deserve to compete on a level playing field, and if enacted, Prop 4 would undermine equal opportunities and contradict both biological reality and common sense. Across the country, women and girls are unjustly losing medals, podium spots, public recognition, and the opportunity to compete when males take their places under policies similar to Prop 4. Such laws have also been interpreted to require giving biological males access to private spaces set aside for women, including restrooms, locker rooms, showers, and dressing rooms. Women deserve to have their privacy and dignity safeguarded in spaces where they are most vulnerable. As the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg put it, quote, "Separate places to disrobe, sleep, and perform personal bodily functions are permitted and in some situations required by regard for individual privacy," close quote. Gender identity laws also undermine free speech and religious liberty when they are interpreted to require people to use preferred pronouns when referring to individuals who identify as the opposite sex. But freedom of speech and religion include the freedom not to endorse messages contrary to our core beliefs. Prop 4 would jeopardize those freedoms. Finally, similar concerns have been interpreted to compel mental and medical healthcare professionals to provide puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and irreversible surgeries to gender dysphoric children and teens. Evidence of the serious dangers of transitioning children and youth with gender dysphoria continues to mount. Just last month, an independent review regarding gender medicine overseen by pediatrician Dr. Hilary Cass and commissioned by England's National Health Service was released. The review concluded that the field is marked by, quote, "remarkably weak evidence where practitioners have, quote, abandoned normal clinical approaches and have harmed children." Dr. Cass said it very well. These children, quote, "deserve much better." Prop 4 would likely be a step in the wrong direction. My final point concerns the inclusion of religion in Prop 4. A concern was expressed earlier today that religious individuals and organizations might invoke the protections of Prop 4 when facing discrimination at the hands of government. As you may know, my organization has already successfully challenged Vermont's discrimination against religion in the education funding context, and if added to the Vermont Constitution, Alliance Defending Freedom would add Prop 4 to its litigation toolkit in the event the state attempts to discriminate against religion in the future. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you appearing from DC and taking the time to be with us. But we'll move on to the next witness is Sonia Skyler.
I'm Sonia Skyler, a member of the League of Women Voters, and I thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to the committee. Our president, Susan Roccanelli, was unable to come today, and so she has asked me to make the statement on this for the League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters supports equal rights for all under the law, both state and national laws, and regardless of sex, race, color, gender, religion, national origin, age, sexual orientation, or disability. The League was born out of more than 100 years ago out of the struggle for voting rights for women, so we are well aware of the importance of enshrining these vital rights in the constitutions. The League of Women Voters strongly supports the proposed amendment to the Vermont Constitution. As we have seen the results of striking down the Roe versus Wade decision by the Supreme Court play out across the country, it has become clear that having strong protections of individual rights in states' constitutions is necessary. Therefore, the League of Women Voters strongly supports Proposal 4 to amend the Constitution of Vermont to assure that equal treatment under the law for all Vermonters, regardless, as the proposal states, of a person's race, ethnicity, sex, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, or national origin. We urge the legislature to pass Proposal 4 this year so it can move forward as an amendment to the Vermont Constitution. thank you for the opportunity to testify. And I have a couple copies here for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming out. Thank you. We will next have Amanda Garza. Did I mispronounce that, Amanda? I probably did. Amanda. I don't see that she is here right now. Or she can be on Zoom. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you for
much.
being here. Thank you, and I apologize for mispronouncing your name. I should have it by now, and I apologize. But
No worries.
if you could proceed, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, members of the committee. My name is Amanda Garces, and I work for the Human Rights Commission, but I'm also here as a Latina living in Vermont, as a woman of color. At the heart of this proposal lies a simple yet profound principle that every individual, regardless of race, ethnicity, sex, religion, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, or national origin, deserves equal treatment and respect under the law. It reaffirms the foundational values that the state has been working on and that generations of communities have been working and waiting for. I heard the testimony today. I urge you not to wait. I urge each and every one of you to support this amendment to reaffirm the state's commitment to the timeless principles of equity. We must say yes to our transgender kids, our LGBTQ kids. We must say yes to our Black, Indigenous, and other kids of color. We must say yes to our kids with disabilities. We must say yes. We should not wait 4 more years or another 100 years. Also today, I feel compelled to highlight that including gender identity in this proposed amendment is crucial to ensuring the dignity and equality for all. By explicitly recognizing gender identity as a protected characteristics, we acknowledge the inherent worth and humanity of our transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming individuals. This recognition affirms their right to live authentically and free from discrimination, harassment, and violence. And it sends a powerful message that Vermont values is clear, and it gives inherent dignity of every person, regardless of how they identify. This amendment is not about granting special privileges, it's about ensuring that every Vermonter is afforded the same rights and protections bestowed by our government. It is about reaffirming our commitment to the common benefit, protection of all. It's not just a matter of legality, it's a statement of values. And as a state, we've worked hard. And we need to declare that we stand on the side of justice, equality, and human dignity. I say that again, but I'm going to say it. It's a promise to future generations that Vermont will continue to be a beacon of hope and progress in the fight for a more just and equitable society. And I really hope that you stand in solidarity with all the Black and BIPOC Vermonters, LGBTQIA Vermonters, and all that needs the protection. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Amanda. So we will now go to Mark Hughes. Yeah, nice to see you in person. 3D. Yeah.
I gotta hold this, huh? Good afternoon. I still say afternoon up until 6. I was trained that way in the military.
Perfect.
My name is Reverend Mark Hughes. I'm the executive director of the Vermont Racial Justice Alliance, and some of you may have seen me before. I just want to shout out Coach because Coach has kind of been on this ride since day one, so good to see you. This is so awkward holding this mic. The Equal Protection Constitutional Amendment. Okay, so one of the things that I was, pretty emphatic about this morning was I wanted to make sure that the Attorney General was chiming in on this. Now, I know that this is a public hearing, and I understand your protocol, but maybe you could make an exception and tell me whether you had the chance to hear from the Attorney General today.
And decided that we did not need to have them in at this point. I don't think they have an issue with it, but as far as being able to get them in on the short notice, I did hear that, again, I think they're fine and they're going to be willing to, well, they don't have to defend the amendment itself, but actions taken under the amendment. So normally I don't answer questions, but I decided I would answer this particular question.
Yeah, I kind of figured that when I asked it, and just sorry to break protocol, but I was busy for the rest of the day, and I was also trying to get some emails out to some folks to attend this as well. So I was trying to do the best I could to compensate for the disconnect from today. I think you know how I feel on it. We've already had the conversation. So, and despite the fact that we were the first folks in probably about 247 years who thought of this in the first place, because there was no conversation about equal protection even over the last biennium. And with how I explained it to you this morning, it should be pretty clear where the idea of equal protection came from. It's probably not lost on you that we're seeing in our communities various implementations of iterations of equal protection. That is to say, what Roe versus Wade stood upon, what we're, as we look at affirmative action, what was left of affirmative action with Chapel Hill and with Harvard. So no, I mean, I think I had something to say, I had something to present, but I think right now I'm at a point to where I'm more speechless than anything, because I had a professor come in this morning who's been around for at least 13 sessions, 13 iterations of capability to make this move. What I mean by that is every 4 years we can do this, and he's been at the law school for 51 years. So I was a little bit disturbed that he came and introduced testimony here that he did not provide in the Senate, and that you were using that as in consideration of taking this apart, particularly in light of the fact that I shared with you that I had various reasons why I didn't like it. To me, it kind of just, I don't even have words for it. It's kind of like this is systemic racism, what we're dealing with right here. Right? I mean, come on, we're talking about now sending it back over to the Senate because one person who happens to be white and privileged came in and told you one thing about some civil liberties that could potentially be taken, and you got a black man right here telling you about civil liberties that are currently at risk, and telling you that we need to do this because the next time this is going to come up, the implementation would be 2030. And we got what's hanging over our heads right now is imminent. In fact, it's in play. So pass the damn constitutional amendment. Let's get on with it. Thanks.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Reverend Hughes. So we'll have Karen Sitta, and I hopefully pronounced that correctly, and she is on Zoom.
How's the lighting? Do I look fabulous? Can you all hear me?
All right. Thank you for being here, Karen.
Okay, great. Thank you for having me. You know, me always a Vermonter that's paying attention to what government is doing for the people, because it's about the people. Let me pull up my notes as well. Thank you for the Judiciary Committee for being here. I have seen you guys multiple times, so I'm excited to be in your presence once again.
Hi, Coach. You know I love you. Okay. Welcome. My name is Karen Sitta. I've held the title for into 2017 and 2019 as Miss Black Vermont, but I'm recognized as the voice to the voiceless most of the time. And I'm here to stand to pass this amendment. I stand here as someone who, hold on, let me write my notes because I'm a writer as well. But I also have so much passion. I don't know which one to use. The brilliant writing skills of mine or my brilliant passion. Okay, so I come before you not just as a voice, but a voice for the voiceless, as someone who has personally felt this sting of discrimination based on protected characteristics. I've been unhoused because of it. I've had a horrendous college experience because of it. And I've also been falsely incarcerated because I was a Black girl taking a hot girl walk. And I'm here because I dream of a Vermont where anyone can survive and thrive in this state. I dream of a Vermont where you can go to any employer and not have to worry, will they like me because I'm Black? Will they like me because I'm pretty and Black? I dream of a society of Vermont where you can be smart and be a girl who is smart and not have to feel like you have to play dumb or play that role of acting dumb for people to accept you. And I dream of a Vermont where we accept that people come in brilliance comes in so many forms in so many different ways. And I also dream of Vermont where people who violate people's rights do feel the guilt of violating people's rights, the guilt of violating other people's constitutional rights. I'm a future lawyer. I'm a new breed of lawyer, one that will creatively use the law to protect all people. And I hope that with this amendment, that I can say, no matter where I go in the world, that I'm a Vermonter. And in our Constitution, we have abolished slavery as well as made equal protection a constitutional amendment and engraved that in our Constitution. I want to thank Mark Hughes for even letting me know about this. And I hope that we can see that Vermont deserves a brighter future. I grew up in this state. I know the trauma that they place on people who have protected characteristics, if you're Black, if you're any type of diversity, and I want a better future. And that's why I file in federal court. That's why I'm constantly in the courts, flooding them with these issues. I'm currently right now fighting pretty discrimination. What we do to beautiful women is crazy. But either way, discrimination is un-American. And we want a better America, a better Vermont. So therefore, again, I'm here to push for this constitutional amendment. And I know that you guys all want to sleep well at night. Sleep well knowing that under the law, people have equal protection and they won't be discriminated against because of their race, color, creed, and so forth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. I really appreciate that. That's everybody we have on the list, but I see a few other individuals in the chamber. If anybody is interested in speaking as well, I don't see any. So